Hello bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with my end of year book haul for 2018. Prior to 2018, I didn't really do book hauls on my channel. I did pick up books here and there, but I don't tend to buy a lot of books, especially not all at once. So in the past, I've done a lot of library book hauls, but ever since I started doing my seasonal TBR videos, I decided not to do those library book hauls because I would be repeating a lot of those books. Last year, I decided to take a stab at doing more typical book hauls, but because I don't buy so many books, it didn't really make sense for me to do them monthly or even really quarterly. So in the middle of the year last year, I did a mid-year book haul. And now fast forward to March 2019, and I haven't done another book haul since then. Just in the craziness of all of the wrapping up of 2018 videos that I did and still have to do because I have 2 more ideas that I haven't done yet. I just never got around to doing this video. So I'm here to do it now. I did buy a lot more books in the second half of last year than I typically do. Last year in November, I went to a Friends of the Library book sale and I bought 25 books at that sale. I did do a separate haul for that. I will link that for you guys if you want to check it out. So today I'm going to talk about all the books that I bought in the second half of the year that I didn't get from that library book sale and didn't talk about in that video. The books that I'm going to talk about today are all not physical books, so I don't have anything to show you. These are all going to be ebooks and audiobooks. I just didn't buy any physical books outside of that library book sale. Also, real quick, I have a question for you. In my last book haul, my mid-year book haul, I did some quick little stats at the beginning of the video. I talked about the format of the books that I bought in that half of the year and the genre breakdown of the books that I bought. I didn't do that today. I wasn't really sure if that was like interesting to you guys or what, and it would have taken me some time to figure those stats out, and because I'm kind of in a rush to get this video out since I only just recently realized I hadn't even done it yet, I decided not to do that this time, but I thought I would ask if you guys were interested. I'll put a poll up in the eye. Let me know if you're interested in stats in these hauls or if you could care less. Or is it couldn't care less? I always get that one confused. So I'm going to go through my purchases in month order. I'm going to tell you the format that I bought it in and maybe a little bit about the book, or at least like why I decided to buy the book. Most of the time it's because the ebook was on sale, let's be honest. Okay, starting with July, the first one I bought was Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. I got this both on ebook and audiobook format. The ebook was on sale and I was in a horror mood. I had asked for some recommendations on Twitter and somebody recommended this. I also picked up the audiobook of this. I'm pretty sure it was one of those where you add on the audiobook for not that much more. Those are always my downfall when the ebook is on sale and then it's like, add on this audiobook, and if it's less than $15, which is the cost of an Audible credit, then I'm like really tempted to just snag it while I can. I also would like to note that the audiobook for Kill Creek is an Audible exclusive. I'm going to try to point that out anytime there's Audible exclusives because that way you don't spend time trying to track down the audiobook somewhere that's not Audible. During this time, I also picked up Hex by Thomas Old Huvelt. This was another horror book that somebody recommended at that same time, and I got this one on ebook. I also picked up some Wheel of Time books on audio. That's one of the main reasons why I have my Audible account, is because the Wheel of Time books are very expensive on audio, and so it is basically the most cost-effective way to own those audiobooks, and because I love those books and I love them on audio so much, I definitely want to own them. So I picked up Winter's Heart, Path of Daggers, and Crossroads of Twilight all on audio in July. And then my last purchase of July was an ebook called Rogues and Wildfire. This is a short story collection. It's an anthology, so a bunch of short stories by different authors. It was actually edited and curated by my cousin, and so I wanted to support her, so I bought this on ebook. They are paranormal romance short stories. So if you like paranormal romance and you want to try out some indie authors, I think this collection is one way to do that. I also wanted to point out that I actually returned an audiobook in July. I returned the audiobook of Seven Eves by Neil Stephenson, which if you've watched any of my like end of year videos from 2018, you will know that it was one of my worst reads of the year. So I had bought this book on ebook and audiobook because it was a book that I read for my work book club. Really didn't enjoy it, and because Audible allows you to return audiobooks, I took them up on it and I returned my audiobook for it. It's really easy to return audiobooks on Audible and they don't really ask any questions. I think maybe if you do it often, they make it a little bit harder and you have to go through customer service, but they still allow you to return them. Being able to return audiobooks is part of their policy. So if you don't like the narrator or if you just didn't like the book, I would definitely recommend returning the audiobooks. Ebooks, on the other hand, you can't return, so I had to keep that one, but I got it for really cheap, so it was fine. Okay, moving on to August. I only had one book purchase in August, and that was Saving Mason, which I bought on ebook. This book is by Natalie Cuddington, and she's actually a booktuber, or I guess an author-tuber, really. I'll link her channel down below. It's Pickle Hearts Books. I really enjoy watching her vlogs. But I bought this book partially because I wanted to support her, but also because it is a zombie story. Although from what she says, it reads a lot more like a contemporary story with like a zombie setting, but that it's not your typical zombie book. Some of you might know that last year for NaNoWriMo, I was attempting to write a zombie book of my own, and so that was part of the reason why I picked up this book, because I wanted to read more books that had zombies in them. Although I haven't read it yet, but I definitely want to. And then in October, I bought Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is an adult, I think it's fantasy, it might be sci-fi, and it has some Asian inspirations, I believe. It's been recommended by quite a few booktubers that I really enjoy, and it was on sale, so I bought it. I also picked up The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin on ebook because this is one that I've had on my TBR for a really long time. It's an adult high fantasy that sounds fascinating, and actually my cousin Shannon from That's So Poe, who I will link down below, recently read the whole trilogy. She like binged the trilogy in a week and absolutely loved it. But it was on my TBR before she even raved about it. But I'm just so excited to read this book. Anyways, back in October of last year, it was on sale on ebook and I snagged it. I also bought Vicious by V.E. Schwab on ebook and audiobook, and the audiobook was an Audible exclusive. This one was not on sale, but I wanted to read Vicious in October because I was playing in this online game called the Bookish Games. I'll link some information about it down in the description box, and that edition of the Bookish Games was Vicious themed, and I wanted to read the book, so I bought it. Okay, moving on to November. This is when I went to that library book sale and I bought 25 physical books. You can check out that haul video if you want to see what books I bought at the sale, but I'm not going to go over them again here. But I also bought more books in November. I bought Born a Crime by Trevor Noah on audiobook, which is another Audible exclusive. I bought this book because I was reading it for my work book club, and because it's a memoir, I really wanted to listen to Trevor Noah narrate it himself, which is definitely the route that I recommend if you're going to read that book. It was so good. I also bought New Spring by Robert Jordan on ebook and audiobook because I actually didn't own any copies of this one already. And that was because New Spring was the November book for the Wheel of Time read-along that I'm co-hosting. I also bought The Foxhole Court by Nora Sakavik on ebook. This one I think might have been on Amazon for free at the time. It is a contemporary, I think it's YA contemporary, but I'm not sure. And it's really not the type of book that I would usually pick up, but I've heard multiple people that I follow and enjoy say that they really like this book. And because it was free, I couldn't say no, and I picked it up. And then the last book that I picked up in November was The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna, which I got on ebook, and I'm pretty sure it was on sale. I have read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I absolutely loved it. It's one of my all-time favorite books, and I've been dying to read more of her books. The Great Alone is her more recent release. It's gotten mostly good reviews, I think. It's historical fiction, but it's not World War II historical fiction like The Nightingale is. I'm not sure exactly when it takes place, like maybe in the 60s or something. And it takes place in Alaska. Here it's a little dark and pretty like heavy, but people really like it, and I definitely want to check it out. All right, moving on to December. I actually got a decent number of books in December. Some of these were gifted or were advanced reader copies, so I didn't buy all of them, but I bought most of them. I picked up a bunch of Wheel of Time audiobooks that I didn't already have. I was getting close to my Audible limit. If you don't have Audible, you might not know this, but you have a 5 credit limit, so you can't just like stack credits forever, which is what I tend to do. I don't use my credits unless I really need to, but I was getting close to my 5 credit limit, so I bought a bunch of the Wheel of Time audiobooks that I didn't already own. So I bought Eye of the World on audio. Apparently, I never bought that one. I think I got it from my library whenever I read it. And I got The Great Hunt and The Dragon Reborn, which are the first 3 books in the series. And then I went ahead and picked up the January Wheel of Time read-along book, Knife of Dreams. And then towards the very end of the year, I remember that Audible was having a sale. So I was looking through the selection of books that were on sale, and I found a couple that I was really interested in reading, and I just can't resist sales. I really need to stop looking when Audible emails me to tell me that they have a sale going on, because I have so many audiobooks that I've bought and haven't gotten around to listening to. Anyways, I bought Patient Zero by Jonathan Mayberry, or maybe it's Mayberry, I'm not sure. This is the first book in the Joe Ledger series. I picked this up because it's a zombie book, and like I said, I want to read more books that are zombie books. So if you have any good zombie book recommendations, leave them for me down in the comment section. I thought that this was a YA or middle grade, but looking at the description, I'm not so sure. It might actually be adult, and on Goodreads it doesn't have an age category listed, so I don't really know. If you know, let me know. Another audiobook that I picked up during that sale was The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. This is a mystery, maybe horror book that I had vaguely heard some good things about last year, and it was on sale, so I bought it. I also received 2 ARCs, or advanced reader copies, in December. The first one was Peace and Turmoil by Elliot Brooks, which is an adult high fantasy, which I've talked about on my channel already, and I think you probably know about. The second one was Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan, which is a YA high fantasy, which I've also already talked about. It's on my TBR for the spring, and I'm going to be reading it very shortly. And then the last book that I'm going to talk about in this haul was actually gifted to me by my cousin Shannon from That's So Poe, and that was All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is the first book in the Murderbot Diaries, which is a series of Tor novellas. It's adult science fiction, and I've heard so many people talk about the series and say that it's really good, it's really funny. Shannon also read it and really enjoyed it and thought that I would like it, so she gifted it to me for Christmas. Alright guys, those are all 23 of the books that I bought in the second half of the year, plus the 25 books that I bought at the library book sale in my other haul video. If you guys have any suggestions about these hauls, let me know down in the comment section. They're still kind of a new thing. This is really only the second one that I've done. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like bookish content. I post 1 to 2 times a week. That is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye. Okay, starting with January. I bought January? But I don't remember the author's name. I also picked up the audiobook of this. Did I really? Didn't write any of these authors down. On ebook, bleh. Like getting a little, but, and I